Hey guys, good morning. This is Don with Overlanding Anglers and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do the second video in our three-part series about how to use your four-wheel drive, specifically how to use the four-wheel drive system on these Toyotas. Now, before we get into that though, and we get into some of the advanced stuff like A-Track, crawl control, multi-terrain select, we need to understand a little bit more about how the differentials work on our 4x4s. So to do that, we're gonna head up to the park and do a little bit of an experiment, and I'm gonna show you a little bit about how open differentials work. Then we're gonna head over to Custom Off-Road, and my buddy Todd is gonna walk us through the different kind of differentials that you see and how we can overcome some of those things. All right, guys. Let's check it out. We are here at the Chisholm Trail Park in Yukon, Oklahoma, and I am going to demonstrate how the rear differential allows power transfer and how it allows your rear wheels to turn at different speeds. To do this, I have borrowed some sidewalk chalk from my little girl. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make some marks on these tires at the same point on each side of the vehicle. Then we're gonna turn in a big circle, and I'll show you after that big circle, these lines should not match up anymore. So let's do it. Okay guys, we've got one tire mark here. We're gonna walk over, I'm gonna show you the other side just so you can see that it's even and I'm not playing any tricks. All right, let's try it. The bottom left, you will see the inside wheel of the turn, and on the bottom right, you will see the outside wheel of the turn. As you can see, the outside wheel turns farther and faster than the inside wheel. Here is the before and the after of the 180. As you can see, the lines no longer match up. This is all possible thanks to the magic that goes into our rear differential. The War Machine has an open front differential and an open rear differential with an E-locker. We'll cover that E-locker in another video, but for now, let's head to Custom Off-Road and touch base with Todd on the most common types of differentials, the drawbacks to open differentials, and how we can overcome those. We are here at Custom Off-Road Equipment in Oklahoma City with Todd.
Hey guys.
And he is going to walk us through these different differentials, how they work, and then we'll ask him a few questions. So Todd, what are the most common types of differentials that we see in vehicles, and more specifically like the 4x4s that we like to buy?
The most common is an open differential.
Okay.
Then the next would be a traction, like a posi is the old term for it, a track lock. Traction control that pulls both tires at the same time. Then you have a selectable locker like the new Jeep Rubicon, Toyota TRDs, and so on have the selective locker so you can turn them on and off. All right.
And what kind of differentials have you gotten for us today?
We've got some of everything here. We've got some that are Lincoln locked, which is actually welded together. It's the poor man's locker that I don't recommend on the street for anything, but race car guys use it. We have open, and then we have a GM gov lock, which as inertia rotates it, it locks itself in, okay. Which was a good thing until they explode.
All right.
Not such a good thing.
All right, well, let's take a closer look.
Okay, well, this is a Ford 8.8, and it's an open differential. So as you see, these are the spider gears is what they're referred to as, and you have idlers and axle gears. So as you turn this, they both move. When you stop one, when you have a big enough tire on it, it'll stop, and it puts power to the tire that does not have traction. So the least amount of traction goes to that tire. This is just a smaller version. This is out of like a Dana 30 in a Jeep. And it's the same thing, it's open. This just has the rear gear on it so you can get an idea of what you're looking at. This one is a Dana 44 that's Lincoln locked, and if you just can zoom in here, Don, it's welded together so that it's locked both sides. You can't move these, and when you put it in, like if you've heard a truck go around the corner and it barks the tires, that's because this is locked all the time. And then this one is out of an AAM 11.5-inch Chevrolet or GMC. Dodge actually uses them also. And it's a gov lock. This is a rotating assembly. As it rotates, and you get inertia, it locks itself in. The good thing about that is it is a traction device. The bad thing is when you get enough power in it, it'll break it. So if you have on ice on one side and dry on the other, then it's gonna it has a possibility of blowing up, especially with bigger tires or higher horsepower. This is an ARB air locker. It's selectable. And so what happened is it has an air collar with an air line that comes out of the differential. You turn your compressor on, then you hit the switch, and the air collar swells up and locks the gears, much like the locked one, except this you can turn back off and it comes right back off.
All right, Todd, now that we've gone over these basic kinds of differentials that we see, what are some of the big limitations on the open differentials that you see in a lot of the 4Runners and like the base Jeeps?
Basically, your limitation when you have a four-wheel drive with an open diff, if you lock it in, you're still only pulling one tire in the front and one tire in the rear. So you really only have a two-wheel drive that's four-wheel drive. It only pulls one or the other, does not pull both of them at the same time. That's where you get the huge advantage of traction, locked, air selectable lockers, etc. The open ones just pull one tire, the tire with the least amount of resistance.
Okay, and why is that? I mean, from what I understand, torque is a lot like electricity and will follow the path of least resistance.
Exactly.
Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
So, and the reason it is it's manufacturers, it's cheaper for them to put that in than it is like an ARB that's the most expensive locker on the market for any axle. It's also the strongest, but when you're talking about building a production vehicle where you're building hundreds of thousands of them or millions of them even, it's too expensive for them.
So Todd, what are some of the ways that we can overcome the open differentials that you buy on stock vehicles?
Basically, you replace it. You put it in either a selectable or a track lock it pulls all the time. The track lock is less expensive than, say, like an ARB. Comparative pricing, depending on the axle, is going to vary a little bit. You're talking about something that's $600 or $700 versus an ARB that's about $1,200 plus an air compressor that you have to use to turn it on.
Well, thank you for explaining that to us. And guys, whatever needs you have, give Todd and Custom Off-Road a call. These guys have done wonderful work. They stand behind it, and I wouldn't trust my vehicle to anybody else. Until next time, keep exploring. Have a great week.